This has been one of the very most dreaded fans I've ever dealt with. This is the 54-inch Casablanca New Orleans 2 in antique copper. This fan was manufactured on November 8th, 2000, was the 102nd fan made on that day. The motor was manufactured in November of 2000. And mind you, this uses a 140 by 28mm XLP2000 motor, which was introduced in 1997 after Hunter bought out Casablanca in 1996. And I don't have the blades for it, but this fan is Matthew Caldarale's, which will be going to Donovan and Parker for the Fanimation group trip. Now, I don't have the blades for it, but by the time you see his video, you'll see it with the blades on. I hope. So I'm going to say the story of the New Orleans. It was essentially a Victorian fan dressed up with long scrolls by Tom Frampton or Bernie Burton. I think it was Tom who did the scroll work way back in the day during the K63 era. They were available in antique copper and antique brass. I think that was for the New Orleans when they started off with the K63 motors and had a hockey puck flywheel, or sometimes the earlier ones had the metal ones, and then some of the earlier K63 Casablancas had the Silent Flex flywheel, which is their trademark of the rubber flywheels. Or maybe copyright. I don't know. But around 1980, Casablanca moved away from K63 to K55. And I think it started off as a belt-driven fan, but I could be wrong. But when they moved to K55, not only it was for the efficiency reasons, but it was also a nightmare for Casablanca to fish the wires up and down the shaft due to the shaft diameter being 17mm or 16mm. So, Warren E. Dennis, who designed the PAMA 5, Century 9000, heatsink for the Slumber Quiet, and the fitters, when they were moving away from the Leviton or the Levitier sockets, designed a K55 motor in conjunction with Emerson, which had a 25mm shaft diameter, and it made Casablanca's life so much easier to run the wires up and down shaft. The problem is, the shaft became pressed in the K55 era, and it is way complicated, but Tom said it was a lot faster for them, but really, it's more complicated. I can't get the switch housing off. All I had to do was to hammer the shaft out, and I hate it. And that's what I did here. I tried to get the switch housing off, because on the earlier New Orleans fans, you can get the switch housing off to get access to the flywheel. But for the New Orleans 2, nope. Both shafts ends are knurled. And I mushroomed the top, and it was embarrassing. It is really one of the fans I would really not want to work on, but it was worth it at the end. It was just a nightmare for me to get this reassembled and to get it to work. I was originally going to replace the bearings too, but I said, nah, the bearings are fine. Plus, I'm not going to go out and get that mushroom out. But I'm sure someone can one of these days, but it works now. It was available in the short or the longer scroll. Again, it was only available in antique brass, but it could be custom ordered in any other finish, like antique copper or bright brass, I don't know. So, they also had a Slumber Quiet system in 1981 and all the way up to 1984. And that was done for the New Orleans also. And on top of that, Slumber Quiet had a high failure rate. I think there was probably some earlier cardboard box variable speed KP5 New Orleans, but I'm not exactly sure. So, around 1985 or 1986, they retained the the short scrolls for the New Orleans. So, and they gave it a B66 glossy antique oak blades, and then they dictated the fan to go 5 blades on January 1st, 1988. So now included B566 gloss antique oak blades. While this fan was only available in antique brass for the New Orleans. Around August of 1996, it was dictated for the New Orleans to have a PermaLock Downrod, and by 1997, they changed the motor out from KP5 to XLP, which improves the performance of the fan and also has more heat dissipation. That was the time when Hunter acquired Casablanca. The motor changed to XLP because of the overseas manufacture, I think. And that also brought back antique copper in 1997. So, 1999 was the last year for the New Orleans. I think it was redocumented 54 around 1998. I think so. But in 2000, Casablanca redesigned the New Orleans by concealing the faceplate and turning it into a blade badge fan. So, it was available in antique copper, antique brass, burnished bronze, vintage silver, and vintage pewter. It lasted all the way up until 2013. And that's where this was the death of Casablanca's service centers, I think. And that was the reason why a lot of these Casablanca service centers had started dying off. And because Hunter, and thankfully I was able to get the motor to work. 140 by 20mm XLP 2000, 4 or 5 blade rubber flywheel, 3-speed pole chain, has a 5 UF for low and 12 UF for medium, separate capacitor values for each speed, and it's electrically reversible. So anyways, since I don't have the blades for it, and because Matthew Caldarale has the blades for this fan, as well as the downrod and the Hang-Tru, let's give it a test. First pull, we'll start off with low. Second pull, medium. Third pull, high speed. Not sure what the heck I did with the scroll. It is a little uneven, but that's okay, because as long as the fan is working, that's what really matters. I'll shut it off. Reverse it. Low. Medium. High speed. Off. And since I don't have the downrod, nor the Hang-Tru, nor the blades, you will not be seeing a video of this with the blades on my channel, nor will you ever see this running on the ceiling. Sorry guys. I'll show you the motor. It's a very nice scroll work detail. I'll say that. I really love the scroll work on it, but I don't know where do I put this at. So I'll show you the motor inside. Here are the wires. If you can see, there it is. I mean, you could still see the wires in there, but that's okay, cause I'm not really concerned about the wires. I don't really need to see it. And plus, it's in the dark, so who cares? It needed a new neutral wire for the motor cause it went undone. So, yeah, that was the reason why Matthew Caldarale sent it to me. I wish I could keep it, but I can't keep everything because I can't have everything in the entire world. So, yeah, I was only given this to repair. So I did like 3 neutral wires, 1 into the motor, 1 going up to the power source, and 1 down to the light kit. I did replace a lot of these wires inside the fan because a lot of them had been chafed. So, yeah, I will ship this back to Matthew Caldarale, and it can go to Jonathan Parker for Fanimation. So, I will try my best to ship this and to get the new leads protected. So, yeah, and that's about it. The Casablanca New Orleans 2 from November 8th, 2000 was the 182nd fan made on that day. This has been by far my the least favorite project I've ever done. But I'm finally happy to get this fan sent back to Matthew Caldarale soon. But it is snowing, so I can't ship it out right now. But once it stops, I will ship it out. So for now, it's going to stay with me within a few days before the snow clears out. But thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Here's a little addendum. This fan here is from November 8th, 2000. Was the 186th fan made on that day, so you can here see the tag. This fan should not have a recalled Hang-Tru, so the fan it should have is a post-recalled Hang-Tru, so I'm not including the recall clip once it's shipped, plus the newer Hang-Trus with the improved casting and the little cutout narrower than the recalled ones have improved castings in there, so this one is not going to get a recall clip for this. So you can see the top of the motor. That was the mushroom I made. Sorry guys, I made a mushroom. I really would normally try to Dremel that out, but it wasn't really worth it for me to deal with the shaft again. And plus I need to get this fan back by summer or spring. So this fan will be coming back to Matthew Caldarale soon. So again, look at that lovely scroll work on it. Switch housing. Here's the ornate leaf-on-leaf faceplate. As stated, that is a reproduction of the Emerson CF24. Again, some of it I try my best not to scratch it up, so I try not to scratch up beauties like that, but sometimes we're not that perfect.